Hello, you are welcome once again to New Focused Approach to Mathematics Basic 7 Revised Edition. In this lesson, we want to learn the concept of congruent and similar shapes. This lesson can be found in page 332. The concept of congruent and similar is very important because after getting the concept from here, when you get to year 2, year 3, you'll be applying in solving bigger questions, right? So let's understand what congruent shape simply means. When we say shapes are congruent, okay, they are exactly the same shape and the same size. If I have two or more shapes that are congruent, then their shape is the same and their size is also the same. The corresponding size are the same and the corresponding angles are also the same. Shapes can be congruent if they have been reflected or rotated. Now, let's take this original shape of A, B, and C. When I reflect this, let's say over this mirror line, you see that the shape will be reflected as this. Now, the shape is the same, the size is the same. The only difference is that the orientation have changed. Look at where B, C is, and look at where B and C is, and look at where A is here, and look at where A is here. The difference is that the orientation have changed, but the value, the size, the angles remain the same. Now, if I rotate this original, okay, I rotate it this way, then it means that A goes up, and then C comes here, and then B comes here. When that happens, you see that the shape has been rotated. But if you compare this shape to that shape, the size is the same, right? And then the shape also is the same. The difference is the orientation, the positioning. So we can say that triangle ABC here is congruent to triangle ABC here, and is congruent to triangle ABC here as well. So this is what we call congruent shapes. Now let's also define similar shapes. When we say shapes are similar, they may have the same shape but may or may not have the same size. And in most cases, when we enlarge a shape, we get its corresponding similar shape. The corresponding size are in the same ratio and the corresponding angles are the same. So look at triangle ABC here. Let me call this triangle AB, A prime, B prime, and C prime. You could see that the distance BC or BC or CB would be in proportion with the distance C prime, B prime. So that if this one is 2, and then I use a scale factor of, let's say, 3 in enlarging this to that, you realize that times 2 of this will give us 6 here. If here is, let's say, 4, times 3 will give us 12 here. If here is 5, times 3 will give us 15 here. So you see that the distance, the corresponding distance here are in proportion. Corresponding distance here are in proportion. Corresponding distance here are in proportion. So that makes it similar. If we know that two shapes are mathematically similar, we can work out any missing side using ratio and scale factors. Okay, so when we talk of similar shapes, they may have the same size, so they may have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. One could be bigger than the other, but then the angles are going to be the same. So the angle here is equal to the angle here. The angle here is equal to the angle here. The angle here is equal to the angle here. That makes it similar. So for similarity, the angles will be the same. It's the size that will change, but the size that is changing will change in proportion. So if AC is changing, the same rate of change will be the same as A prime, C prime also changing. Good. Now let's base on this to answer the following questions. Identify shapes that are similar and those that are not here. So I'm sure you are looking through to see those that are similar, right? Okay, and those that are congruent. So you can see that this and this are similar, and they're also similar and similar. This is similar and similar. They are all similar. None of them is congruent because the sizes are not the same. Good. Now, when we come to this and this, here we can say they are congruent because the same size, the same shape. This and this are also congruent and they are congruent. So these are congruent, these are congruent, these are similar, these are similar. Keep this. When you get to year 2, you'll be using this concept to understand concepts in mathematics and solve more problems. Thanks so much for watching. Stay blessed.